Back in rainy December, Audi invited us to sample their range of S and RS models. Last minute plans meant cameraman Joe wasn't available, so I grabbed my phone, a microphone, and jumped behind the wheel of the brand new C8 RS6 to find out if this super estate is all the car you'd ever need. Yep, good. I don't think there's any car maker on the planet that is best known for performance estate cars than Audi. They've absolutely nailed it all for 25 plus years. Think about that RS2 based on a humble Audi 80 Avant, but with loads of Porsche bits thrown at it. What a phenomenal piece of kit that was. And they've never really looked back. RS4 and RS6 Avants have just defined a particular motoring genre. I think the idea of a go anywhere, do anything estate car that can hustle the very best supercar, black down a B road, but also go to B&Q on a Sunday, I think it's really hard to beat. This is the 4th generation Audi RS6, and what a car it is. 600 PS, so just a smidge under 600 brake horsepower. I mean, that is an astonishing amount of power. 800 newton meters of torque and a 0 to 60 time of 3.3 seconds. I just think they're astonishing numbers. They're just supercar quick. The crucial difference between this and the previous model is the introduction of a 48 volt mild hybrid system and cylinder on demand technology, which enables pots 2, 3, 5 and 8 to be shut down to improve efficiency when they're not required. So despite boasting 7% extra power and a 14% increase in torque, this new RS6 is also claimed to be more fuel efficient. And yet, you can have the dog in the back, you can throw the seats down and go to the tip. What a phenomenal proposition we've got here, really. I just think it's great. Yeah, even sporting Audis of the past have, I think, struggled to match some of its competitors in terms of its dynamic prowess. But I've got to say, I think this version is really, really impressive. On the one hand, the comfort levels in comfort mode are superb. The ride quality is really good. The low-speed ride in particular is really well processing on this drain-strewn road. Audi's always had quite a sort of rudimentary suspension setup, I think, and it meant that the ride on big-wheeled, low-profile tyred models could be a bit brittle. And then the handling was only okay. It was pretty good at going around a corner, but it wasn't very sophisticated. It sort of dealt with imperfections not at all well, really. But this car does. It's really quite impressive. Basically, you can amble along as we are now through a 30-mile-an-hour zone, and it's quiet, it's refined. I don't feel like I'm trying to sort of restrain a sort of herd of wildebeest. And yet, when we get to a de-restricted bit, the power gets delivered really quite progressively. We're on a winter's day in December and the roads are a bit slippery and greasy, but I feel really self-assured in this. It corners really flatly, very neutral. I think the upshot is I'm basically only using about 10% of the available performance here. I've kind of read reviews that, says that this car really shines on track. I can't imagine many owners are going to be taking it out on track, but I get the impression that if you did, unless you're Lewis Hamilton or something, you're really going to struggle to find the very limits of this particular chassis. Audi earned a reputation probably 20 plus years ago of doing some of the finest interiors in the business. There's sure signs here that they haven't lost their touch. This interior is significantly more modern than my Mark 1 TT I've got on the driveway, but the same sort of clarity of purpose is still here. De rigueur now is twin touch screens. We've got a touch screen for things like the climate control and a sort of command screen which houses the sat nav and all the other sort of driver commands. It's also got the digital gauge pack, which is quite cool because you can flick between different viewing settings and you can sort of have the sat-nav screen in the middle of two large gauges, or you can shrink the gauges down and get various other graphics. It's all very Knight Rider-y, which I love, by the way. It's also remarkably refined. It's barely a pin drop here. The biggest notable noise is the tyre noise, and you'd expect that out of engine wind and tyre noise, you would expect those big fat tyres to be the predominant noise out of the three, and so it is, but it's not obtrusive. I'm just not sure that anything else on the market has the same blend of modern Teutonic styling, awesome performance, and yet very civilised and grown up refinement and practicality. That's a mighty combination. Oh yeah, there is a downside. That's the price. This particular example, as tested, is £112,000. I'll just let that sink in. £112,000. It is what it is, I suppose. And what is it they say? Quality lasts forever while the price will soon be forgotten. Maybe that's what we're doing here. We've got a really well-engineered sporting estate car that can pretty much go anywhere and do anything. And to find a car that can deliver that practicality and driving enjoyment, you've got to go some, I think. Yeah, the Audi RS6 Avant is... what a car. What a car.